This video is going to go through some worked examples for probability. So our first worked example is being able to convert between fraction, decimals, and percentages. So our first example here, we're converting from the fraction 4/5 to a decimal. So what I need to do is I need to divide 4 by 5. Now 5 goes into 4 0 times, so we need to put in a decimal. And then we can read it as 5 into 40 goes 8 times. So our decimal is 0.8. Now to go from a decimal to percentage, we times by 100. So you have 0.8 times 100. So you have 80%. In our second row, we've got 20%. So to go back to a decimal, you have to divide by 100. So then you'll have 0.2. And to go to a fraction, we put 2 in the numerator over, we have 1 decimal place. So that's 10 to the power of 1, so 2 over 10. And we can simplify that down to 1/5. Okay, our second example is to determine the probability of rolling an even number when rolling a standard die. So our first thing is to list our sample space. So our sample space of rolling a standard 6-sided die is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now the probability of an event occurring, so the probability of our number being even, is the number of favourable outcomes over possible outcomes. Now, our possible outcomes are all of those that are listed in our sample space, so we know there are 6 of them. Our favourable outcomes are those in our sample space which are even, because that is what we want to occur. So 2, 4, and 6 are our favourable outcomes, so that's 3. So our fraction is 3 over 6. Now we can simplify that to a half. So our probability of rolling an even number is a half. Our next example is to determine the probability of selecting a picture card when selecting a card from a standard deck. Now, we remember from our previous worked example what our sample space was for our cards. So I'll write that on this slide. And so the probability of getting a picture card is the number of favourable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. Now from our sample space, we know that our possible outcomes is 52 and our favourable outcomes, so we want to know how many picture cards are there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 12 picture cards. So it's 12 over 52. Now that can be simplified down to 3 over 13.